So whenever you'd read these books, would they help you with your creation of writing music?
Oh, they would help me with just writing in general. Like I always loved writing. So before I started writing lyrics, I actually would just write a lot. And when I was like in grade 3, 4, 5, I actually used to write, believe it or not, but like fictional scripts for shows that I liked. So I've written episodes like what do you call that, like fan fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction.
I've written episodes of Rocket Power, SpongeBob. Like I've written those episodes in Braille before, like, and that's, I'm talking like Braille. I used to use like it's this thing called a slate, and you'd actually open it like this. You put the paper here, then you close the thing, and then you have something called a stylus that's like probably like 3-4 inches with like a 2 inch tip that's pointed. It's like metal, and then you just kind of like poke through the holes of the paper and you write. That's how you write Braille. The manual way, of course. There's things called Braille writers and stuff, but I've never really been too keen on those because it was a little more advanced for my dexterity at the time. I couldn't really manage being able to hit different keys simultaneously at the same time. Like that was like too much for me. So I kind of just stuck to the old school way of writing Braille. But I would write a lot of stuff, poems, like things like that. And most of them are gone now. I didn't really hold on to them. Braille also wears out if you don't write on proper Braille paper, which is like kind of thicker.
Yeah.
I used to use regular typing paper, so like it wore off within like a few years. So I kind of just got rid of a lot of them. But I did used to write a lot, even before starting to write lyrics.
Now, as you know, one of the pillars for communication is control, correct?
Yes.
That's the first one, control.
Control, yeah.
How were you able to, I mean, with your disc impairment, how are you able to control everything, brother? And then still be able to manage to, get out of your comfort zone, focus, lock in, get your work done, be so passionate about reading and writing. How are you able to control that and still have the passion for writing your music?
Man, it's all about, I would say, compartmentalization. Although, like, a lot of us have, it's a new like buzzword right now, I guess. But it's like compartmentalizing really helps because you have a lot of stuff going on in your day-to-day life. Even as a kid, like, our parents would think that, like, all we have to focus on is just like school and homework and stuff like that. Like, we don't really have any real issues. And I mean, growing up now, we see that there's real issues that we didn't face as kids, but that doesn't mean that we didn't have stuff going on, But for me, like, I guess it's kind of just as I got older, I just kind of learned how to keep what would you call business and pleasure, I guess, separate. So, and using my personal experiences and the experiences of others around me to kind of shape what I wrote, keeping things back to control. There's a lot of times in my life where I've gone on indefinite hiatuses from writing, from making music, because I didn't feel inspired. Like, there wasn't really much going on in my life that would enable me to have anything to write about. Because I mean, being blind, like, I'm not the most outgoing. Like, I'm not always outside. I'm not always among people. But then I speak to a lot of people because I mean, being stationary, like, I had to communicate with people like via like online or over the phone. That's my main form of communication. So I've made a lot of friends that way, even while going to school. And so that taught me, okay, you don't always have to write about yourself. Like, being an artist comes with like writing about the experiences of others around you. It's not necessarily you. It's you creating a character, and you're the embodiment. You're the vessel of that, And God kind of gave me that understanding and wisdom of how to convey that through my lyrics. So that's how I kind of learned to control what's going on or externally, and versus putting that into words, putting that into melodies, to like communicate with others and teach, just give an example of, hey, like, this is, you can get through this, and being an inspiration, being positive through it all, because that's the key. Like, if you can't maintain positivity, I don't really there's you can't make it that far. I don't think. I really don't think so.
So would you speak a lot about God?
Hmm.
It seems like you have a lot of faith in God and trust. Would you say there's a correlation with control of the mind, control of your life, and God?
Yes, because I mean God he's everything. I would say, like, first and foremost, if you can't, having a relationship with him helps you to have that control, because at the end of the day it's not really you, it's him. He controls everything, and the sooner and the younger you learn that, is the more you kind of have faith in him. Like, I tell this story all the time of how I was able to get here to go to school in 2018. Like, even up to the 2 weeks before I was able to come here, I didn't know what was gonna be happening. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to, like, fully get here in time for school and stuff like that. And then, bam, the week before school started, everything just popped off. Like, I was able to get, like, to fly to Barbados to get my get visas set up and everything, and I was able to get here. Like, literally the week that I was setting everything up to get here, that was the week that I was supposed to already be here for orientation. But yet still things came through, and I was able to start school on Monday morning, the 27th of August, 2018. Like, I remember that day clear as day, that date.
That's
And that wouldn't have been possible at all without God. Like, if I was to have spiraled, I don't think I would have made it, because, like, everything was kind of, like, uncertain. And that's when you don't have control. When you don't understand things, you don't have control, it's easy to spiral. But when you understand that he controls everything, you just need to sometimes have the faith, do what you can, and let him handle the rest. As the sooner and the easier it is for you to kind of get to that point. And a lot of us need more coaching in that aspect. Like, it's not just something you just can snap your finger and just, oh yeah, God got this. Like, we're human. It's in us to worry. It's in us to, be uncertain. We don't know what's gonna happen even in the next hour, but we still have to. You have to have that faith that things are gonna be okay.
have the faith, but also have the action as well, right?
Yeah, man. You have to, like, faith without works is dead, as the Bible says. So you have to be able to do both. Sometimes you need to know when to be still and let him do it, and you need to. That's where this discernment comes from.
It's also that communication that you have with God as well, right?
Yes, the communication, exactly. Because you need to ask him. Just, what do I do right now? Like, sometimes all you need to do is just trust in him and just be still. Let him do what he's doing, because you know that you've done all you could up to that point.
And when he sees that, doors open up, right? Like, how's it happen?
Doors open up. It always does, bro. Like, I wouldn't have been here today without having faith in him. Like, I would not have been able to. Like, things didn't work out the way I wanted it to,
Yes.
of course, but it could have been worse. It could have definitely been worse. And I want to shout out to everyone who has helped, like, helped me to get to that point today, and encouraged me to hold on to that point from today.
100%. And everything always happens for a reason.
Always happens for a reason, bro. Like, look at us now. We're here recording this, and it's been something that we've been wanting to get done for quite some time. Just hasn't panned out, and look at when it pans out.
Yeah.
Like, you just had to have that faith.
100%. How do you have the faith in the people that you've encountered with?
So it's not the faith. I don't have faith in people. That's where a lot of us go awry. Because if you have faith in people, you'll always be stuck with disappointments. You'll always be stuck with quote unquote regrets, because we're designed to let each other down. We're flawed. I wouldn't say we're designed to let each other down, because I mean, if you love somebody, they're your friend, they're your family member, they're your loved one, you don't want to let them down. But it just happens. That's just how it is. Like, nothing is perfect in life. But when you ask God for the right people at the right time and the right things to work out, that's a side effect of, if there's a letdown, it's okay. Like, of course, we have feelings. We're going to be disappointed. We're going to be let down despite our best efforts. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that, like, just look at it this way. Like, you dodged the bullet. Like, something didn't happen. It was maybe for a greater good. Let's say you wanted to go, this afternoon you wanted to go to a pool and hang out, and then something happened to where that wasn't possible. You didn't get to go to the pool. You didn't get to link up with that friend. And and let's not say anything negative happened, but let's just say it wasn't possible. It's not the end of the world. It's either gonna happen next time, or let's who knows what could have happened if you were to force it to happen that time. It's just a matter of understanding.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, life teaches us that we can. At the end of the day, we have to get shit done by ourselves.
Yeah,
We have to rely on ourselves more than anything.
You can't always depend on people to get stuff done for you. And yes, no one is an island. No one stands alone. Not all the time, but there are times when you need to take up responsibility, and even if it's in hindsight, you need to take up ownership and accountability for what went wrong, where it went wrong. That's a big part of growth.
100% is the ownership and accountability.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that's where you start getting that control of your life.
Yes, sir. When you start holding yourself accountable, like, okay, you could wake up not feeling 100% today, and you can put in whatever percentage you have. Sometimes that percentage is zero, like you're not physically not able to do anything, or mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. But the fact that you were able to at least identify that and be like, I'm going to try again tomorrow, and tomorrow is another day. Like, just try again another day and make things happen. Like, it's all about getting another chance and trying your best to make things happen.
100%. And that's what makes us human, right? We're not supposed to always feel 100%.
No.
But that's when we need to really try.
We're not perfect. Exactly.
Fake it till you make it.
Need to try. Exactly.
I never understood that quote until, years later, where there's times we're going to be in a bad mood, but we have to fake it like we're happy and excited. Sell it, because at the end of the day, people love seeing smiles. People love seeing positivity.
They do.
Even if you're not, sometimes you have to express it.
Yeah, and that's why, like, a lot of the time I've heard that, like, people who are the most outgoing, the most bubbly, they usually have the most stuff going on inside or internal, or, in their personal lives that we don't know about. And maybe it's not for us to know. It's just for us to be there for them, to soak in that positivity, because I guess, in a way, faking it till you make it helps you to make it, because it's like you have that energy out there. You're putting it out there, And I don't really like to talk about the universe, XYZ, because, there is a God. He created the universe. The universe would be nothing without him. So I don't like saying, putting this in the universe, putting that in the... But at the same time, it's like putting it out there kind of attracts it, Yeah, I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. Or, it doesn't matter how your personal life is going. You see someone down and you prefer to help them rather than sulking in what you already don't have. Give them what you do have. It's more blessed to give than to receive,
100%.
That's what gets you to where you need to be.
So, moving forward with that,
yeah,
would you say that's where a lot of your inspiration with music comes from, is experiences?
Yes, sir. Experiences in knowing that, the experiences in life, experiences in knowing that, like, nothing lasts forever, be it good or bad. Unfortunately, because we would like the good things to last forever, but the truth of the matter is it doesn't. It can't. But overall, my experiences is what helps me to, keep writing. There's a few more songs that I have not yet recorded.
Yes.
And they are a lot different from what I've recorded before. Because as I grow older, I'm getting closer, getting deeper in my faith. I'm understanding that my voice has a lot of power, and so I need to be very mindful of what I say, what I put out there. And I've never made like whatever you would deem as negative music, quote unquote, has never been me, and I am very thankful for that. But even as I get older and as I get more wise and mindful, I'm even more proud of that, because it helps me to convey my true emotions, and that helps people more than I know,
Absolutely.
It helps others more than you know.
And it goes back right to free will and the choice of words, of what we put out. Words are very powerful, and you need to be wise with your words.
Very powerful, brother. Like, especially for kids, like telling a kid, it's very important to give positive affirmations to kids and speak positivity to them, because they remember stuff. And you don't want a kid, although it's a kid, but kids can't hold grudges. You don't want a kid holding a grudge on you for some negative stuff, because we remember, a lot of us remember that one negative teacher or that one negative family member, adult family member, as we get older,
100%. Who are some of the artists that you've looked up to, and would even like to work with one day?
Man, I have a very small list of artists that I would say, yeah, look up to. A very small list of those who inspired me as well. So I would really like number one, Kanye West, of course. That's the goat right there, man. I mean, man, say one, say two about the guy, but he's a legend, and I respect his craft a lot from growing up up until this day. Like, I'm actually looking forward to his upcoming album, like whatever it is. I mean, that's one of the guys. Another one is Acorn. People could say he's washed up, he's whatever, but that's another guy that I really look up to, man. And from there's this artist from back home that I really like. His name is, he goes by King Dice or just Dice. He's like a calypsonian, and he does other genres as well. I've grown up listening to this man's music and listening to his, he's an inspirational guy, man. Like, he's a guy who, like, very, very talented, man. Has a beautiful voice, very articulate in his words, man. And this is a guy that I really appreciate. And there's a young guy who also does like bouillon music and stuff like that I really want to work with. Trilogy, like King Trilogy. He's the current Calypso King of Dominica, and he's a very, very good artist, man. Very strong songwriter. That's just some of the artists, man. I don't want to carry on. There's many artists that I can,
100%.
I can pinpoint, but these are the top ones, man.
I will say that I've always been a Kanye fan, but because of you, Kanye is one of my favorite artists now, if not my favorite artist.
Wow, bro. I really appreciate that.
It's because he's, to me, he's one of the most innovative artists, if not the innovative artist of all time. From the fact that he's still relevant, back from the 2000s, early 2000s to now, I believe Donda was a masterpiece. And he talks about God. People look at him like he's a demon or something crazy, but he's really preaching about God, and
he is,
he's being great with his music.
I mean, even from his first album, first song, Jesus Walks, he was like, I ain't here to argue about his facial features or here to convert atheists into believers. I'm just trying to say, the way school needs teachers, the way Kathy Lee needed Regis, that's the way I need Jesus. He's been speaking about God from the first day,
Yeah.
like from the first time he came out. And that's one thing, like, messages like that, like people go through different phases in their life. Stuff happens, but you can't take away someone's God-given talent. That's for sure. That's for sure.
100%, brother. Now, you asked us something earlier. Bruyo or Buyo?
Buyo.
Is that music culture from Dominica?
Yes, it is. So it's spelled Bouyon. Bouillon. Bouillon essentially means a mixture of stuff in a gumbo, like a one pot, like mixture of stuff in one pot. So that's what bouillon is. It takes elements from different cultural and influential music from the Caribbean and from our African ancestry. So it has like a lot of different percussion instruments and like stuff like the accordion, and it's this very, like I said before, upbeat. It's like 160 to 170, I'd say, or 155 to 170 BPM, and it's just like a genre of music that is meant for partying, but also like it's evolved to include a lot of different messages these days. Like it's kind of like social commentary or things that's going on right now, popular stuff. Sometimes you get like catchy chants, and the rhythm is the basis for everything. So like the rhythm in the instrumentation is very important, because that's what catches the ear first. People don't really listen to lyrics that much. No matter the genre you speak of, people don't really listen to lyrics first. They listen to the music first.
Absolutely.
So that's what captivates. That's what's captivating about it, and it's a genre that I've never really done, but I have dabbled in it. I have my first bouillon song that was released earlier this year. It's called Deep, and it's on my YouTube channel right now, which is Creature the Genius. We'll get that like plugged in for you guys to be able to see it and stuff. But so that's like my first bouillon song, and like it took me years, because people have always been asking, "Oh, you're gonna make a bouillon song?" It hasn't been my genre of choice. Like, I'm not necessarily that type of upbeat vibe. Isn't really my vibe, but it just was the right time. I had the right producer, homie. Like I hooked up with my producer, homie, and he was working on a Bouillon like project at the time, and it was the right time to do something finally. He gave me the concept, and I worked with it and came up with something good. So
I heard that song because you had sent it to me and I
Yeah.
shared it. You remember?
yeah,
Just
I
making
remember
sure.
you even told me that you thought
Yeah.
it would be something that would be great for like Latino clubs
Yeah.
and bars and stuff, and I was like, wow. And I was really thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, like you're right, because it's the kind of upbeat, same vibe as like some of the upbeat music that you guys love, dancing to and stuff. I was like, I didn't really think of it in that way. I
It's
was
like it's like
wow.
merengue. Yeah,
Yeah,
merengue music,
yeah, man.
Upbeat, you want to just dance, you want to cut some fruit up,
Cut
get in the
some fruit.
groove.
Yeah, man. Like that's the type of bounce, man. So that's the thing that like that's our genre originated from Dominica. Don't let any other Caribbean people fool you that it's from their country. It came from ours.
You
Thank
heard
you.
it here first on the podcast, Masters of Communication.
Yes, that's where it's from. Bouillon, it's from Dominica.
Now, do you see yourself creating music where you use your elements from Bouillon music, from your culture, and using it with elements in the United States, with hip hop?
Yeah, man. The thing is, for me, I have not dabbled that deeply into production. I've always like here and there dabbled into it, but I haven't been that deep because the equipment that I use to produce and make beats hasn't been the most state of the art or the most accessible, I would say as well. But when I do create stuff, like I usually put it in more in the lyrics. That's how I implement my culture. It's more based in the lyrics because a lot of the time, my music is either like I got it from YouTube or whatever it is. But I usually try to incorporate some form of culture because I mean that's where I'm from. That's what I know.
100%.
So that's how I usually do it. I do it through the lyrics and the vocal inspiration. But when I I'm planning to get back into production deeper soon, and I have some new stuff coming that's gonna be way more Dominican influenced than Dominican based. Even I'm gonna start using some of our patois, Creole patois, which is like kind of like Creole, which is kind of like broken French. So like we speak that on island as well. That's one of our main languages. Some argue it's our first language. But in modern times, I would say English is our first language because that's what globally we are recognized as speaking. So,
Really?
but yeah, man. So I'm gonna be incorporating a lot more and also incorporating my faith into my music a lot more as well. Because in this time we really more than ever we really need to have something to believe in. That's the best way I can put it. Because I don't want to shove any particular religion down anyone's throat. But it's very important to have something to believe in this time.
Now, why do you think in this time, do you think we're going to you think right now this world is headed to an evil path? Or?
I mean,
an evil
I'll
path, but
let the Bible tell it that better than I can. What I will say is that we're not heading on a good path right now worldwide.
Because I agree with you.
globally.
I agree with you, 100%.
We're not on a good path at all. I don't want to say evil. I don't want to use any particular adjectives, but I would say that we are not heading anywhere good, anywhere fast. Like look at, for instance, AI. Yes, we can use it for a lot of good, but the honest truth is a lot of it is not going to be used for a lot of good because it's mankind. I believe that we have the wrong name, the wrong concept, man, because man is not kind. A lot of mankind isn't actually kind. So I don't think mankind is a good phrase. It's unfortunate. But there's a lot of good people out there. That's all I can say. Like we just need to spread more love and positivity because there's things that are working against the good that is happening in the world,
Absolutely. I agree with you. But I always believe also that the good is always going to win.
It's always going to win, but the not good is also gaining ground and fighting stronger. So the good needs to also fight back stronger and not be silent and not be shy or put into a box and silenced. That's when the good and positive people have to come out in more numbers and speak more loudly about the goodness.
And that's why we have individuals like you, my friend.
like us, bro.
Like us,
Yeah,
absolutely.
man. To spread that positivity because, man, the world needs it right now. We definitely need it right now.
100%. They want to silence the good, to control.
Yes, sir. But can't be done, man. You can silence some people, but you would never be able to silence everyone.
100%.
Sure.
And I also do believe that when it comes to your music, how you say you want to talk, you want to speak about good, positivity, God, and faith, that's where the emotion can hit as well. And I believe the best way to really resonate with someone is through hitting that emotion, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so, like, I haven't released much in recent times. Well, probably I have something from like probably a month or two ago on my channel. That's my most recent release. But I have been preparing for when I do begin releasing again, and I do want it to hit a different nerve and be different, because one of my career goals is also to be a social worker. That's something that I've through research and even through growing up, just understanding that it's always been around me and it's always been a part of me. Being a social worker, being a counselor, being someone who can influence the community and the people around me. As I said earlier, I've recognized and I'm very thankful to God for giving me a strong voice. And I think it's about time that I use that voice positively, not just in music, but also in just being a speaker, being someone who, spreads that positivity and love, no matter in whatever way I can. Yeah.
And I will say, since the last time I saw you, you look great, brother.
I really appreciate that, bro.
You look much healthier. I don't know what you're eating. I don't know what you're doing, but it's working, man. So
Hey,
I want to
man.
congratulate you on that. You look much healthier.
I appreciate it. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily eating the healthiest, but I have, been consuming a lot less of the fast food and junk and stuff. So that definitely helps. And then it's also not to go. It goes without saying, or not a lot of us know this, but it's not also what we eat, but it's what we consume otherwise as well. Like it helps. It shows on our body that, like, if you consume a lot of negative, like, thoughts, news, negative things like that, it can translate into your physical look, because it weighs down on you. It's mental. It weighs down on you mentally, and that reduces it takes away from what you are motivated to do physically. Like, just smiling alone helps a lot, and what you choose to listen to, what you choose to look at, that can influence you a lot and help you a lot versus hurting you a lot,
Absolutely. There's one. So there's one project. There's one lesson that I'm working on right now with the Masters of Communication. It involves control, because we can control our senses, but we can also control what we see, what we hear, and what we listen to.
Yep.
And I believe if we can do that, that's going to help us, well, depending on what we want in life, right? But what we consume is who we are. Yeah. So, if you're consuming a bunch of inspirational, motivational videos, well, what you see is what you do, So then you're going to work towards that. But if you keep hearing negativity, negative news, you're going to trap yourself into a box. You're not going to want to travel because you hear about all the dangers.
Yep.
So it's like that's where the evil comes into play, I believe, where they want to minimize you and control you. But that's where you got to escape. Break the walls.
Yeah, man.
Break the walls of Jericho.
Exactly. It's like it's a form of fear mongering, because it's like the more fear they put into the masses, like, oh my God, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. Like, even with, like, for instance, right now, Africa is it's in a lot different light than it was even 10 years ago. Like, every time you think of Africa, you usually think of, like, desolation, poverty, like disease ridden, like
water
a
scarcity.
complete, like, just like hellhole place. And right now, like, African artists, like, to bring it back to music, they're the ones, like, thriving most right now, to the point where they even created an Afrobeats chart. Billboard created an Afrobeats chart for the US right now. Like, Afrobeats artists are traveling the world right now. There's a lot more, like, riches, and it's not that it's more. It's always been there, but the negative news has always taken precedence and has traveled. I mean, negative news, bad news travels quicker. Like be like what there's a saying that I've heard like bad news can get around the world get around so quickly that while good news hasn't even had the chance to tie its shoes yet. And I really messed up that quote badly, but it's something like that. That's how it goes, you know. And that's true because start a rumor about someone that's untrue and detrimental to them. You'll surely be hearing that everywhere. It'll get back to you. But start something positive. Oh, this guy just got a XYZ. Like it's very seldom that it reaches just as far. And a lot less people will be inclined to share it, quote unquote, and pass it on. Because it's not anything that I guess a lot of us thrive on negativity, and it's sad, you know?
Yeah.
It's sad.
I did learn that in my master's with communication is negativity sells. You know, crimes, killings, mass shootings, all those sell.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Sexual crime, all types of crimes. Like these things they gain a lot more ground. I don't know why. Yeah, either. Like it's just part of the evil. That's like part of the plan by, Lucifer to like just overpower like his best to overpower God's plan. But at the end of the day, stuff will happen. That doesn't mean he has more power than God. That just means that's just allowing our free will to reign. It's just like how far will you go? How far will you go before you realize that you're going the wrong way,
100%. I absolutely believe. No, that's why you have to listen to that intuition, right?
Yeah, the intuition also,
the conscience.
Yeah, for those of us who are that type of spiritual, listening to the Holy Spirit is what you would call that. A lot of us don't, and you need to also ask for discernment from what are those my thoughts versus are those God? Is that God speaking to me? Is that the Holy Spirit speaking to me? You need to ask for that discernment as well, because a lot of the times if something is, you think of something, you may not necessarily think that it's just yourself telling you to do this or to do that. A lot of the time you can't listen to yourself, but in the moments where you are unsure and have a lot of doubt, if you're in two minds, you need to ask for that like direction, and it doesn't really come from within you. It comes from somewhere else, something bigger than you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel sometimes that, on the left side, I have the angel, and the right side, I have the little demon, And it's like, which one do you want to choose? They're both talking, blah, 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 trying to see which one you're going to go to. But at the end of the day, you have that free will to choose.
You're your own